Beulah, her dad thought she's going to become an old maid and she'll need a place to live. So she inherited the house from her dad. Now Beulah never married. She never did marry. She did inherit the house. Her bedroom, see on the second floor where it looks like a window and a door and the wrought iron railing, that's Beulah's bedroom. And she got mad at the city of Louisville. No. She had stained glass windows put in because right after World War II, it was growing south and they were demolishing the neighborhood. She couldn't stand it. So she had an artist to put in stained glass windows on her room and on the north side. Now, she lived here until she died in 1952. Now, notice the dog. Notice the small dog. We think this dog was named Little Kisses. We think the dog was named Little Kisses because in her diary, she wrote quite a bit about a dog that was named Little Kisses. Now, here's her real claim to fame. Raising Cocker Spaniels. She showed Cocker Spaniels. She kept ribbons, certificates, collars, and even little snippets of fur. It's on display in the house. And she also raised goats and kept them in the house. Goats. They didn't have a barn. The yard wasn't deep enough to accommodate a barn. So she kept the dogs and she would show the goats, probably like state and county fair. Now we know you can show some dogs at fairly fancy places, but she also did the goats too. And somebody made the joke, she probably moved in the dogs and the goats after her dad died and her name was now on the deed of the house. It's like changes are going to be made and she brought in her dogs and goats. Now, she was also a concert pianist. When she died in 52, the room was never disturbed. They never carried out any furniture. Her violin is on display, a couple of her dresses. Nothing was ever disturbed whatsoever. The room never had a new use whatsoever. Never did.
She was the second daughter born?
Yes, yeah. May was still alive because she died in 59, and two brothers that I've yet to introduce. All they did was close her bedroom door. They never disturbed a thing, and that also includes her Louis Vuitton steamer trunk. It is still on display in the house. Her Louis Vuitton steamer trunk. I know. We have no idea the value of a Louis Vuitton steamer trunk. No idea.
I noticed that too.
Because I always miss everything because the house is always to my back.
Show the new people the gate.
Oh, the gate.
The gate.
Listen to this sound. Now, you got to pretend it to be dark. That's the best effect. Does that not sound creepy? It does. It does.
We have to show them that.
And I always like people to think, imagine you're in the house alone and you hear this gate swinging open. You would be going out the back.
I would. I'd be running to the front to see what we could see.
To see who was here. I would too. But let me tell you about, now this is Napoleon's cradle. He was child number 9. The only one born in the house was Napoleon. See the front door? The window above the front door is the nursery. Now remember, the middle window and the window to the right is the master bedroom. So this window right above the front door is the nursery. When I was gathering my stories, interviewing people, I met a gentleman. He had been leading tours down here for a number of years. So he shared this information with me. He had seen this cradle rocking on at least 4 occasions. So this is what he shared with me. He said he just finished the tour, sort of like waved the bus goodbye and the bus left. He started climbing those 25 steps to the second floor. He started hearing this sound of click, 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 something he had never heard before in this house. He said he got to the top, turned, looked down the hallway. The nursery door was wide open. That cradle was rocking. It was going back and forth, back and forth. Now, he thought, the tour bus is gone and I've got a guest who's missed the bus and they're just sitting in this nursery rocking it back and forth. Well, that gentleman, he said he took off down that hallway, stopped dead in his tracks. He looked in there. This cradle, it was just going back and forth, back and forth. There was nobody around. It was not slowing down. It was just going at the same speed, the same tempo, just back and forth, back and forth. Well, he said he watched about a minute, 2 minutes. Said he hadn't ran in years. He said he took off flying down that hallway, running down those steps, hollering for the undertour guide. He got the guide. Just as he said, you're going to hear this click, 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 click sound. They got to the top, turned, they walked down that hallway. He said they just stood shoulder to shoulder in the doorway. This time, he said that cradle was being rocked with, it looked like it was being shoved across the floor with each push. He said sometimes it'd be pushed so hard the little legs on this side would lift up, hit the floor, and there'd be another strong shove across the floor of this cradle. We said they stood there, they watched this thing. All of a sudden, it just started to slow down until it just stopped. He said they looked at each other, they looked at this cradle that now was not moving. He said they never said a word. They both turned around, walked down that hallway, down those steps, locked up this house, got in their cars, and went on their way. Now, when I was interviewing the gentleman, he said he had seen it rocking like this on at least 4 occasions. Sometimes it was out of control, sometimes it was just a very gentle little rock going back and forth. Well, I asked him some obvious questions. One being, was it rocking on Napoleon's birthday? He said no. I said, okay, what about the date of his death, his anniversary? He said no. I said, okay, well, anything about this weather, the season, the time of day, anything? He said, no, the cradle would just be rocking. He said, I could be in the house, I would hear this click, 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 click sound. He said, I would go up, turn, look down that hallway, I could see this thing going back and forth. And I knew nobody was in the house. And I said, okay, well, what can you tell me about baby Napoleon? He was the only one born in the house. He was child number 9. Did he survive infancy? They said, yes, he did. He was born with fluid on the lungs. The mother, the nursemaid, or the 2 sisters sat in there and rocked this cradle, and they kept the fluid from accumulating. He survived. He graduated from Central College in Danville, Kentucky. He took a job in Washington, D.C. working for the FBI, came home to Louisville, became an insurance agent. Now, in the house, mom's gone, dad's gone. 2 sisters, 2 brothers call this place home. The girls died in the 50s. Dr. John died in 63. Here's Napoleon. The brothers have their portraits hanging in the dining room. So here's Napoleon. He is all alone. Napoleon turns age 70, and Napoleon starts to date. Now it's a love story. Napoleon's age 70 and he starts to date. It's never too late. Now he hooks up, his sweetheart was named Opal Godfrey. She was in her late 60s. She had never married. She lived with her brother and sister-in-law down here in Old Louisville on 6th Street, and that house still stands today. Well, he and Opal got married, and they moved into the house, started sleeping in the master bedroom now. It's sort of like he's moved his place up in line now. He's brought his wife home, and they're now in the master bedroom. Now, I want you to imagine Napoleon and Opal fast asleep in that bed. Let me pull up the picture of the bedroom. It was ever removed. So imagine Napoleon and Opal occupying this bed. Late at night, she would wake up and say, Napoleon, don't you hear that sound? And he would rouse up and say, hear what? And she would say, I hear piano music in this house. Oh, you're dreaming, there is no piano music. They're right above that 9 for grand piano. Another week, she would wake up, shake him, say, wake up, Napoleon, don't you hear that sound? And he would say, hear what? I hear violin music in the house. You're dreaming, there is no violin music in this house. Go back to sleep. Well, here's Opal. She's hearing piano music, she's hearing violin music, she's hearing people walking around on the 2nd and 3rd floor, dishes rattling, voices, doors opening and closing. Opal finally says, this house is haunted and I'm moving out. She packed her bags. She got in her car, went back to the house that she shared with her sister and brother-in-law down here in Old Louisville. Well, I can imagine Napoleon probably standing right there watching all this play out. Well, Napoleon, he was a smart man. He packed his bags. He locked up this house and he moved in with his wife, her brother-in-law, and sister-in-law in that little bitty house in Old Louisville. Well, the brother-in-law died, the sister-in-law died. So this leaves Napoleon and Opal. Their marriage lasted 15 years. He died at age 85, which means this house was locked up, undisturbed, for 15 years. Opal died January 1998. She was almost 100 years old, still living alone in that little bitty house down here in Old Louisville. She got the entire Brennan estate, $5 million. She got it all. The house went bankrupt in 2007.